Now, I made a big furor before going to the Supreme Court. So Raja then notes in a file note that why is everybody blaming me? I was asked by Chidambaram to do this. I've got it with me. That's why I'm so sure that Chidambaram Nowadays they don't call it Tihar jail, they call it Club Tihar. And there's a lot of sauna there because there's no air conditioning, so you sweat there. Now, they also say that now they are serving masala dosa and idli and all that. I'm just waiting when they start serving pizza also. So now you see, one is that Eti Salat. Not only that, the Home Ministry advisory says, and by now Chidambaram has become Home Minister. Home Ministry advisory says that the MD of the Indian branch of Eti Salat, Shahid Balwas, is an agent of Dawood Ibrahim.
Yeah, right, sir. We read that.
And everybody in Bombay knows it. It's not a secret. He has 6 corporate jets. And one strip in Palanpur in Gujarat, where there is no monitoring. So he plane takes off for Dubai and comes back for Dubai, no checking. Air Force can knock it down, but Air Force has been told, no, you are not to touch his planes. So look at the amount of the collusion that has taken place, all for money. Your national security has been totally been sabotaged for the sake of money. So Etisalat's Indian company is called Etisalat DB because DB and Etisalat, DB Reality and Etisalat merged, and therefore they merged. The sum total of the bribe is not 1,76,000 crores. That is the loss of revenue, potential revenue. The bribe amount I have estimated at 60,000 crores. And it was distributed, and this Raja himself told me, between himself. He said, I got the least. So he says he got only 3,000 crores. Only. Considering he was coming 15 years ago on a cycle to the DMK headquarters, 3,000 crores is a lot of money. Then he says that 60% went to Sonia Gandhi. 60% of 60,000 is 36,000 crores. Then he says, so you take 3,000 crores plus 36, 39. What is remaining is 21. Of the 21, 5,000 crores went to Chidambaram. And Karunanidhi got 16,000 crores. Because you saw that chart, he's got a big family, so you should get it. He's got 3 wives and all that. So anyway, this was the situation. Now you can see with this kind of money how much impact it can create in your economy, in your elections, and so on. I'm glad this time in the Tamil Nadu election, unfortunately there was no alternative ready. We could have had alternative, I couldn't. It need about 2 years to build an alternative in Tamil Nadu, which is neither ADMK or DMK. But for that you have to devote 2 years sitting in Tamil Nadu. But anyway, that will happen in the future. But the people decided that DMK has to be defeated. I did put up few candidates, we got lots of votes, but we couldn't win any seat. We got 6,000, 7,000 votes, it's quite a lot for an assembly constituency, standing alone. But the fact is that the people had made up their mind. So I mean, I'm telling you, this despondency should go. People do react. And they took money from Karunanidhi's party and voted against Karunanidhi. And they voted in, almost in a typhoonic way. I remember I was driving from Salem to Coimbatore in the campaign, and we were passing through a purely rural area. And we, of course, because of the LTT reasons, I get a huge security convoy in front of me and back of me. One old lady was waving for me to stop. She's saying all alone. So I made our people stop the car, and I asked her. She asked me, in Tamil, she asked me, "You're Subramaniam Swamy?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Don't let that 2G go. All must be sent to jail," she said. I said, "Do you know what 2G is?" She said, "That I don't know, but something terrible has happened. And it's all been done by Tamilians. That is a big shame for us." So that was the spirit. So what happened is, this matter then began. I wrote a letter to the PM saying, "Please give me sanction to prosecute Raja." Now, there was a question raised about this Jan Lokpal bill. The only thing in that bill which I have considered of any value, for everything else the present laws are sufficient. But there is one thing there, and that is the establishment of an independent prosecution commission, which will not require sanction. Under the present Prevention of Corruption Act, if you want to prosecute a minister, then you have to have the permission of the Prime Minister to do so. Otherwise, if a person is not a minister or a public official, I can just walk into a magistrate's court and say, "Here's my petition, here are the facts, I want a case registered," and prosecution launched. Or you can go to a police station and ask an FIR. FIR means only investigation. But if you want prosecution to start, then you can go straight to the court and do it for crimes committed by ordinary people. But if there is a public servant, you need permission to prosecute him. The original idea was that people should not harass public officials, so therefore there must be a substantive case, and therefore there must be some material, and therefore there should be sanction. That's how it originally started. But now it has become, don't act at all. For example, the law says that the sanction should be given within 3 months. And I wrote to the Prime Minister. For 1.5 years he did not reply. I wrote him 5 letters. Finally I went to the Supreme Court and said the Prime Minister was not doing his duty. So I want the court to direct it, to give me the power, authority to file a case. The court has that power, and I asked for the court. The court said, "Well, we are also shocked that you have written these letters with so much substance and data." So they issued, for the first time in the history of the world, that to the Prime Minister, they issued a notice to the Prime Minister, file an affidavit, not make a statement. File an affidavit means he has to swear. That means you don't believe him, that you want him. It is a great thing. Now, if I had made an issue of it afterwards, Manmohan Singh would have to resign. But I said, no, not his fault. People got angry with me. Why are you protecting this man? I only said if he resigns, then Sonia Gandhi will get a chance to choose somebody else only. That's the only difference. No. Is there anyone better than him? No. Prime Minister is a boneless wonder, but he has personally not taken money. All the other congressmen are boneless wonders, but they have taken money. So in what way are you matters going to improve? The whole UPA goes, I have no problem. But why only Manmohan Singh? From day one he has been a boneless wonder. Not in this office only, even I knew him as a professor. For some time he was my economic advisor when I was Commerce Minister. He was my economic advisor. I brought him back from Geneva. He had run away from the country saying, I'm disgusted. He had left the country in 1988. And I brought him back in 91. So, therefore, I know him very well. He's personally honest, but that's not good enough. Bhishmacharya was a great noble soul. But he watched Draupadi being dissolved. So, Krishna said, you can't forgive him. Just because he's your teacher, just because he told Arjuna that. So where there's a big moral wrong, he has to be. And therefore, in a general war, we can knock off Manmohan Singh, no problem. And prosecute him once UPA is out of power for dereliction of duty. But at this stage, I didn't agree. But as a consequence, I was able to file this complaint. And then CBI was directed to commence investigation. And Raja went. Once Raja went, we found out that, the money route for Karanjal TV. So she was the moving spirit, Kanimuri. She's also a special friend of Raja. So why should I separate Raja and Kanimuri? So she went. Now Dayanidhi Maran, he went for a different reason. One of the people who got the license was Shiv Shankaran of Aircel, that time of Aircel. But Dayanidhi Maran forced him by denying him everything, even though he had got the license, saying you sell to this man, otherwise you are going to get nothing. All your sunk money is sunk. So the man sold, and he sold it to a Malaysian. Now here's another national security angle. This Malaysian, Ananta Krishnan, is a man who has been laundering LTT money. So now a Malaysian owns Aircel, Etisalat, Telenor, Docomo. So many foreign companies have come. Do you think in this country you find that many foreign companies? In fact, they won't allow. They won't allow Huawei, for example, in this country. Because Huawei is getting equipment from the Chinese army. I'm not against China. I would like good relations with China, but it doesn't mean that I say my house is your house. That's not what we have to do for national security. So this has happened. Now, in the process, when Manmohan Singh came under fire, why did you agree to this low price? Manmohan Singh, to save his skin, or maybe he was a simpleton, he said in his reply that it was decided in 2003 during the NDA rule that the spectrum price will be decided by two ministers, the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Telecom, and then they will report to the cabinet. That was 2003. In 2006, I further diluted that by saying that the two ministers will decide, and what they decide shall be final. And they don't even have to report to the cabinet. They have to just inform the Prime Minister. This he said in the floor of Parliament. He said it in press conferences. He said it to me. So I began digging through RTI, and lo and behold, it's there in my book. I found a letter of Chidambaram, who was then Finance Minister, to Raja, saying, you and I have to decide the price. Let us meet and then inform the Prime Minister. There is also a letter there is also a file note of Raja saying that Chidambaram suggested that for the larger good of the country, that means him and some others in the Congress party, larger good, the price should be fixed at 2001. Now you tell me, if Raja is in jail on a charge that you charge 1/10 of the price, but he didn't decide alone. He could not decide alone. Chidambaram is also a signatory. I asked for the minutes of those meetings, and they said the minutes have disappeared. But I don't have to worry about that, because I've got the basic letter where Chidambaram has written to Raja that you and I have to decide and inform the PM. I have also the Prime Minister's statement on the floor of Parliament, plus of course a press conference, and then to me by way of letter, that these two were to decide. They decided, they told me, and there's nothing I could do, because that was the law. That was the policy decision taken, that these two will decide. So in the process today, the process of arresting has started. People say, why haven't you caught this man, why haven't you caught that man, why is Tata outside, why is Birla outside? Let me tell you, we have a judicial strategy. When I go to court, it's not bigger than this room, by the way. Not even that entire, it's right up to that point, this room. And this poor magistrate alone is sitting. I and the CBI counsel are standing. We have got 25 accused already, which includes Shahid Balwaz, it includes Unitech MD, all these people. They're all there. They all come with 5 lawyers, all high-priced lawyers. Even Jetmalani is coming for Kanimori. And they are shouting at this poor judge, you see. He's a tough guy. But he told me one day, the other day, you're going away to Harvard? I said, yes. He said, come back quickly, because I can't face these people, because I reply usually. And then he said, no fighting here in court and all that, but the work is done. So, if I start now having all the people at one blow, this case will not proceed. It will be tied up in one technicality after another. Even these people are making life very, very difficult. So therefore, the idea is Raja's gone, then Kanimori gone, then he will go in 2 weeks' time, August, Chidambar will go. So if Raja is going, then Rani also must go. So Delhi ki Rani and Madras ka Raja. Now all this money has gone, can we get it back? Yes. The work is going on, and all the governments have agreed to cooperate, and the reports have started coming. And I can say one thing, if you have a government which is sincere, then in no time you can get all this money back. But the governments today to date have all been compromised governments. I had written to the government saying, Rahul Gandhi, you see what happened is, Rajiv Gandhi and I were very, very good friends. I mean, not that I agreed with him on what he was doing or I participated in all his nefarious activities. But before, I had nothing to do with it. If I had something to do with it, by now my name would have been on the front page. I mean, so many people they're all the time looking at me through a microscope, find out what is wrong, what you can say against this fellow. So, but he was my friend, and I can't have only Devtas as friends. You see, there are not many Devtas who are walking on this earth. So, as long as you don't participate in their illegal activities, you can be friends with people who you like. So he was a person I liked a lot, and he also was very, very friendly with me. And one day he told me that, you see, this Rahul Gandhi, my son Rahul, you must get him into Harvard. I told him he's failing left, right and center. Harvard won't even touch him. So he said, no, now he has got through Doon School. How he got through Doon School, I don't know. But he did. So he says, he can be admitted. He was in St. Stephen's College on a rifle shooting quota. Plus the fact that he was declared himself as Christian. So he got into St. Stephen's. But then he failed the Hindi exam. And he's representing UP. This is UP Wala should answer this. So Rajiv Gandhi felt that, if he has a foreign environment and a good one, he'll do well. So I said there's only one way I know, but that's a very dangerous way. If you donate $10 million to Harvard, they will give you one seat. But once you're in, you have to compete like everybody else. And if you don't, they'll throw you out. And then your $10 million is also gone. So Hinduja has invested $11 million for the Harvard Medical School. and Rahul came in to Harvard. Lasted 3 months. 3 times he had to go for detoxification to clinics because he was taking a lot of drugs. He was a drug addict, and but then he went through this detoxification 3 times, and finally Harvard said, "Time for you to go." Then he went to some college in Florida called Rollins College. I don't know what college it is. I'm told it was founded by the Catholic Christians of New England. And some of these you can't tell. The other day I got in my mail, want a PhD fast, apply. And so I then read the fine print. It says that we'll give you a certificate for being able to deliver pizza for home delivery. And that is your PhD. I mean, I don't know whether it's one of those. Because nobody in the Nehru family has yet graduated from college. They're all 5th class pass, 10th class pass, like that. Anyway, that's another issue. As long as you don't tell a false story that I got a degree from the University of Cambridge and turns out you never went to Cambridge. It doesn't matter if you're not, got a degree. It's not an important thing in public life in that sense, except that state has become now a very modern state, so you need a lot of education to be able to do it. There are some people who pass school and they have got capacity to do very good administrative work, and that is, for example, Jayalalitha. She's only passed school, but our problem is different. That's Sachikala problem. That's another problem altogether. Anyway, coming back to this issue, when he was at Harvard and when he was in Rollins College, his fees was paid from a bank in Cayman Island, Bank of America account. It's a secret account. So I wrote to the government saying that, just go to the university and say we are launching a criminal investigation. Please tell us. Well, give us copies of all the checks that you received from Rahul Gandhi. They don't give it. But the government of the day didn't do it. Rahul Gandhi was arrested in Boston airport by the FBI, carrying $1,60,000 in cash. The American law is that you cannot bring more than 10,000 without declaring. And the punishment is 8 years for every installment of 10,000. Means 1,60,000 means 16 times 8. 144 years. You would have gone with Bernard Madoff, and Bernard Madoff is going for 150 years, so he would have been with Bernard Madoff. So this is, and then of course the government of the day was Mr. Vajpayee. He intervened with Condoleezza Rice, and then finally the FBI agreed to register a case and take an undertaking that whenever they want him, he will come and appear. And that's how he came out. So after that, he has never come to the United States. He is not sure what the FBI will do. Because they took 9 hours to agree to the US government in the first place. So that's the one way. There are so many ways, indirect ways you can find out. But I will say finally this, that because the Switzerland under the American pressure and this terrorism, UN resolutions, all that, has now declared there is a category called politically empowered, politically exposed persons. And they say that if anybody is a politically exposed person and the government of that country makes an application for freezing their account, we will freeze it. So, Mubarak's accounts have been frozen, so has Gaddafi's. And later on, for instance, earlier on, Marcos's accounts were all made bare. And it is that in 2001 I discovered that the illustrator, Schweizer illustrator, which they produced a photograph now of that page. It shows Rajiv Gandhi had $2 billion in 1991 and the beneficiary was Sonia Gandhi. So the money has gone to her. We can ask that. Leave alone all this. German government bribed a senior officer of a bank in Liechtenstein, which is a small country in Europe, which is a tax haven, and got the entire bank rolls of all deposits in a CD. And that CD, in Germany, they analyzed by countries. And they found India had 16 names. So they wrote to Indian government saying that, if you want these names, we are ready to give. They wrote to all the governments. There were about, I think, 22 governments they wrote to. 21 governments said, please send us the list of all our nationals. India was the only one which didn't reply. Then we started putting pressure. Then the matter went to the Supreme Court. And then the Prime Minister ordered that Germany should be asked, and Germany sent the 16 names. But even after the Supreme Court has asked, the government is refusing to release those names. So finally, fed up, the Supreme Court just now has appointed, which has never happened in our history. The Supreme Court itself appointed a special investigating team and appointed a judge, a retired judge called Jeevan Reddy, who was a very strong judge, as the chairman of that, and said that CBI and RAW, everybody will be members of this. And so now that investigation started, the 16 names will come out. And naturally some big names will come out of that. And so there will be many names. Power is a soft target. I'm not worried about it. I'm just trying to see whether Sonia Gandhi or Vadra or Ahmad Patel, anyone connected, they're all going to be. Take Hassan Ali. Hassan Ali is a scrap collector. And in his account there was $8 billion. No one knew this. When Chidambaram's finance minister was told that this man got $8 billion, so Chidambaram was greedy for money. He sent word to me, give me $4 billion and I'll let you go free. Hassan Ali didn't agree because he didn't have the money in the sense the account was in his name, but the password was with somebody else. A well-known lady from Italy in New Delhi. So this is a new technique. You open the account in somebody else's name and ensure through your lawyers that the password is not given to that person. So even if the account name comes out, you say Sonia Gandhi's name is not here. So what happened is that Chidambaram in anger wrote to the Swiss government saying these are the account numbers that we have got, kindly freeze them. So the government of Switzerland froze the accounts. Then they realized, naturally went to Sonia Gandhi, she was very upset. And then of course Chidambaram, whatever the reason, whether this was the reason or 2611 was the reason, I can't say, he was shifted. Pranab Mukherjee came and Pranab Mukherjee wrote a letter to Switzerland, which they are still resisting giving me under the RTI, saying that Mr. Chidambaram, my predecessor, wrote this letter, but he gave the wrong bank account numbers. Now I give you the correct bank account numbers. Please tell us whether there is any such bank account. And they are all bogus bank account numbers. And Switzerland wrote back, oh, is that so? All right, we are defreezing the account of Mr. Hassan Ali, and we are telling you that there is no such account in these account numbers. Which they then began parading, no, there is nothing in his account. And within one day, 24 hours, all $8 billion, except 100, I think $5 or $6 million were cleared out from that account. Where it went, nobody knows. Of course, we can find out later. So what I would say is, the short answer is, Government of India issues a ordinance. You can pass it in the Parliament, but ordinance is the fast way of doing it. When Parliament is not in session, you pass it as an ordinance, saying all Indians who have accounts, Indian citizens, who have accounts in these 77 bank accounts, these 77 countries, all their accounts have become nationalized, are now the property of the Government of India, unless the person affected proves that these accounts have been legitimately opened and the money has been legitimately deposited. This you do, you will get all your, whether it is 1.4 trillion or half a trillion, you will get it all in no time. And then of course we will worry about others. All MLAs, all the office bearers, and write to the Switzerland government, these are politically exposed persons. Kindly inform us whether they have accounts in your banks or not. Switzerland is obliged to give you under the new law to give you these names. So there are many ways of doing it. So I would like to say to you that there is a solution to the problem.